103.6 The Beat, Douglas Jekan live on the mid-morning, hanging out here with my man Teezee.
Yeah.
What's going on, brother?
I'm good, family. London winner.
Let me tell you something. First off, man, you are still living up to the name Fresh Prince of Lasgiddy.
Always.
But now you got to add a little to it. It's Fresh Prince of Lasgiddy and London.
And as in Fresh Prince of everywhere, brother.
Fresh Prince. How you doing, man? I haven't seen you like in 2 years now. What's going on with you?
Yes, bro. I'm good. Lockdown was crazy. Just been working super hard. I think it was a good time for people to really like slow down and reanalyze everything that's going on in the world, and just really tapping into your true powers.
True.
So I think that's really what I did over the last 2 years.
Yeah, man. I mean, can I be honest with you? I totally agree with you on that one. It also seemed that people were also dealing with stuff as well. Did you just real quick? Did you go through any of that?
100%. I was dealing with everything. The first 6 months of lockdown were really tough for me. Like, man, I'll be honest. I started doing therapy, like, just to even just reflect on some things that in life was moving so fast. You never even had 2 seconds to think about, because of this could have affected me or made me do that. But that lockdown time really made you self and critically analyze your own being.
That's right.
And it just made me really like break myself down and build myself up again. So it was super important for me.
I hear you. Since that period of time, I just want to say you put out some music, which we're going to talk about, but you also made an announcement. You got a kid. So I want to congratulate you. You're a father now, and your father. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How's that life treating you?
Man, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Fatherhood is like a complete game changer. I'm just so inspired. I'm so, like you said earlier, it's like the most fulfilling feeling that I've ever had.
Yeah.
So it's just so special.
Yeah. Look. When I saw it, I think I reached out to you. I messaged you and I said, yo, beautiful. And I will say this, like, no, I don't think anyone should jump into it just like that because you want to, but when you do, it's beautiful. Like, and I also feel it kind of helps you stay a bit more focused now. You have a goal.
Yep.
I also know that you're a Man U fan, so are you gonna get your kid to play for Man U?
No. I'll let him be free of choice and free of who to support.
Bring him to Chelsea, man. We'll help him out there.
The league is changing rapidly. So I know his mom's an Arsenal fan. So I mean, let's see. Whichever academy picks you up.
Wait. How do you guys deal with that? She's Arsenal, you're Man U, like.
You know how it is. Like, we just watch all the games.
I hear you.
Well, now because of everything happening, I'm definitely a casual football watcher. I'm not invested.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay, we're here to talk about your new project. The project is called Arrested by Love.
Yes, sir.
Which I thought was a very interesting title. But you, for the benefit of the viewers and everybody else, tell us, how'd you come up with that name? Is it reflective of your family status at the moment? Talk to me.
So for me, when I was working on this project, I really started it just before the lockdown started. And I was, obviously, the Alter Committee, I was really binging and watching a lot of like Nollywood movies and stuff. Right. And when I knew I was going to do this project, I knew I wanted the concept to be based around love, because through my healing and growth, I felt like love was like the most overpowering force that kind of resonated across the board for no matter what was going on. And one day I was watching this mad one that was called Arrested by Love with Rita Dominic and Jim Ike. And when I heard that name, like, I had a title in my head, like different ones, like Soldier of Love, Prisoner of Love, Arrested by Love. They were just bubbling over. Then I just tuned into one and I saw that shit and I'm like, that's the name. It's Arrested by Love. It just made so much sense. So shout out to old school Nollywood for inspiring, the title of my project. And so it just kind of coincided with what's going on in my life, with my girl, my son, my family, my siblings, friendships, like, love is very important. People actually underestimate the importance of feeling real love from another person that's not like tainted. Yeah. So I think being arrested by love meant like I've given everything up and love is what I'm going to let lead.
That's what you're going to hold on to.
Exactly.
Man, I'm not even going to lie, like, you've described it very well, but when just from a layman's description, when I listened to the project and heard the name, I just figured, you know what? Okay, Teezee's now in a more mature state now where he's prioritizing a bit more, and love kind of helps you prioritize a great deal, right? Whether it's friendship, whether it's family, I totally agree. Okay, so on the radio, we've already started playing the records, but let me just tell you, you have on the project, you've got Knox on the project, you got Midas the Jagaban and Tenny on the project. Some amazing names. My boy Back Row G, by the way, I love that dude, think he's amazing. Pretty Boy Dio. You actually put out the first song you put out was New Government, if I'm not mistaken, right?
The second one.
Okay, so I think I caught New Government first. That was the one I caught, and I think you did a very interesting social media campaign around that. It kind of also tied in a way where we want a new government in Nigeria right now. So
exactly.
But so let me start from there, because that was that was really what drew me to the project. So talk to me about that record. Let's start with that.
Yeah, I mean, Doug, as you know me really well, so even it was the second single, but it was originally supposed to be the first single because it would have made sense to be first.
Right.
Some things happened, so I had to move it to the second one. But yeah, man, I mean, I think that was just a statement that was really cutting across all notions of what was going on for us, I mean, back home.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the government and everything happening, we're just instating that we need a change. We need respect for the youth, we need respect for young people, for women, for children, and for LGBTQ, just freedom of being who we are. And also, it was a new government in terms of what's happening in the entertainment and music space globally, as of young Nigerians, young Africans finally coming into their own and kind of owning the space and kind of taking over. So for me, it's the message to the old guard, the gatekeepers, the whatever they call everybody else. It's just there's a new government in charge, so we don't even care. It's style, fashion, the sound, everything. We're coming to take over, and we're not being remorseful about it.
That's right.
And I think Pretty Boy was a good person to work on the song with, because he has the same rebellious energy.
No, absolutely amazing. And I'll tell you this, right? Just to echo what you said, it is the law of nature, right? That's the one thing that I feel the old gods in Africa are not trying to allow happen. The law of nature means you got to let the young people come in and move the conversation and the culture and history along. Not when you have an 80-year-old person, 90-year-old person still running for government. What do you know about Twitter? What do you know about TikTok? What do you know about anything, right? But I'll tell you this. I thought that song that you've mentioned it. I thought that song was very powerful. It would have probably been my first pick. You also have Kofi Mullet on there. I've spoken to Kofi Mullet. I interviewed him once. I also think he's a very talented Ghanaian guy. So I see what you're doing here. Making sure you're also involving the African narrative in all of this conversation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now you've got a record with Parcelia called Ancestors. I want to know, tell me about that record real quick. Just break that down for me.
Ancestors with Pa. I mean, I was in London for majority of the lockdown between 2020 and 2021, end of 2021, and I formed a lot of new relationships, new friendships, and Pa was actually one of the people that I really connected with. Now we became a brotherhood,
right?
And being Nigerian who lives in London, and him being Gambian who lives in the UK, we related and connected on a lot. Because even though people see the man-dem side of him or the music or think it's drill, but Pa is very in tune with his African side, and that's something we bonded on. Whether I was talking about back home or the food we're eating, and we always gave the importance to our ancestors and where we're from for the reason why
we are able
to do what we can do today. And I just felt not enough. There's not enough messaging around that, the importance of that. And myself, I studied my Orishas, my Yoruba religion over the last 3-4 years, going to see it in Dominican Republic, in Cuba, in Brazil.
You did take a couple of trips. I actually saw. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll get there.
Going around the world and seeing the influence that my culture or the culture I'm from had in places 500 years later, and it's still prevalent today.
Right.
Then back home, they're trying to demonize
wash it,
or put
and
it
wash
to
it
the
away.
side. So I was dang, how do I, put that across in a new way for the kids to kind of understand? And that was the perfect opportunity. We worked on that song. It was probably the song I worked on the longest. We combined 2 of our songs together to make it one. We definitely did about 10 to 15 references or records to get that song. So that's a real special record for me.
Mad. Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie, man. That it is a solid record. And like I said, I could summarize it and just say, when I listened to the project, I said to myself, man, Teezee, you are in a different space, and judging from the last time we spoke 2 years ago and when you guys put out 10 as well, you know, I'm like, okay, there's a lot that's happened in your life. So I'm glad that you're expressing them in these little ways. You talked about traveling around. How did you, what inspired you? I mean, yes, you talked about, you wanted to get know your culture, but what's that spark that's created this consciousness in you to say, I need to actually go and do this research? Did you feel like something was missing in your life? Did you feel like there was a certain void in your life? Like, what drove you to start making those discoveries?
You know, for me, it's something that I always had interest in and I always kind of studied. I think also being like from Lagos State, so obviously from Lagos, a lot of returning slaves from Brazil and stuff. So my family come from that stock as well. Obviously, my last name is Zacchaeus. So growing up, I always felt like people were like, "Why are you Yoruba and you don't have
a Yoruba
name? And your name is not like Williams or something. It's like one of the more Lagos-based, like the Pedros, Zacchaeus, De Souza." So that I always had an interest in understanding, you know, why that was so. So you know, just always just curious. I always read encyclopedia. So it's something I studied very like as an internet kid, just always like checking it up. So the moment I had the opportunity to explore and travel and understand more about it, you know, I took it by the scruff of my neck and I just had to go and see for myself. And I think, like they say, seeing is believing. You know, going to Bahia in Brazil where people are speaking Yoruba and that worshiping Ogun and Yemanja and all these Oshun and stuff. I'm like, what? You know, they take that scene more seriously than people are taking zodiac signs, you know. So I think that really just inspired me and just even made my journey understand a few things more, like how Afrobeat is kind of transcending the same way the cultures did 500 years ago and is still prevalent today. That's the same transition with arts, culture, tech, fashion. It's kind of just coming from Africa, predominantly Nigeria right now. You know, I saw Jack Dorsey and Jay-Z starting a new company. Their CEO is some kid from Kano that's running their tech.
That's right.
I'm just like, what is going on?
NFT and all that stuff.
Bruh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, there's something so special about Africans, and you know, I'm Nigerian, so I'll say there's something very special about Nigerian and being Nigerian, and you know, the world is kind of enjoying that today in all forms of arts and culture.
And from an artist's point of view, it's also you feel the need to, you know, obviously project that because that projection will also inspire the next young kid coming out as well. And it's something that has always been sort of like suppressed in the past, right?
100%. 100%.
I totally agree.
And that one is completely, that's my mission, is to make the next kids feel, you know.
Let me cut it. I want to play what's cool.
Just with the kids. It's really for the kids, man. And I think even the ancestors, there was a bar where we were like, you know, today like lecture, intellectual ones, I'm just sharing the codes. When you know, then you grow. So that's just for like the kids, because now the kids don't want to listen to anybody anymore. You know what I mean? And I was that kid back in the day too. So I'm like, bruh, you can now see someone that looks like you that's telling you, man, I'm not a lecturer, I'm not a professor, I'm as dumb as you. But you know, those things are important for you to understand. You just choose to pick on the knowledge.
Mad. Amazing. Okay. Obviously, yes, I apologize. You did have the baddie record with Davido. I remember. By the way, I didn't see you at the David show.
I was in Paris. I had a show in Paris.
Okay.
Fashion week. You know I'm a fashionista,
bro. So
yes, sir.
You know, to be honest, it's inevitable. I saw an Instagram post you put up where you said, it was like a statement. You said, I've decided to make a conscious statement to be the freshest looking guy. When I read it, I was like, this nigga.
Shout out to Kanye. You know, Kanye put some batteries in everybody's back. So I was like, you know what, bro? Talk your talk. So that's what Kanye taught me from watching Genius. I was like, you know what? He's right. He's right. Just manifest it. Is it a lie?
No, it's not. That's right. I mean, to each his own, right?
Like each his own, exactly.
I hear you there. So you watched the documentary Genius, yeah? Like
I loved it. Yes, that's the best documentary I've ever watched.
Yeah. I think I've always said I think Kanye is way misunderstood.
100%.
And I think the fear most people have had is the fear of being misunderstood. So they try to conform.
Exactly.
So I guess what is happening now is that people are saying, you know what? I don't care if I'm being misunderstood. Exactly. This is who I am. So the overall narrative should now be, let's not try to box people in or to assume that we expect people to be a certain way. Let's have an open mind as individuals, because we're all different.
Yeah.
We grew up differently from different backgrounds. You and I are both from Nigeria, but our upbringing is definitely different. You know, so look, I think that's what's really powerful, what is happening with the music, with fashion and everything else that's coming out of Africa these days. You are obviously a member of the Altic community. For those who don't know about the Altic community, if y'all don't know, y'all should know, but just break it down, please, so people kind of understand.
Okay. Doug is a chairman of the Altic community. This man has been putting on the music for years before anyone else caught on to it. So big shout out to you for that.
Bless up, bro.
We appreciate you. You know, we miss you back home, and I know you're still doing it here because I see you playing the songs on radio out here as well.
Bless up.
Yeah. So Altic back home is just I think it's just a community. It's a different way of thinking. It's just you know, doing things outside the norm, trying to think outside the box, and just freedom for young African creatives. I think that's really the main thing. Just freedom to be yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what everyone has been pushing on. Obviously stems into like music and the style and the fashion, but I think it's really at the core of freedom.
Yeah.
Of being yourself.
Freedom of expression.
Freedom of expression.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Look, you know, I'm actually so happy to see, you know, a lot of the artists are really becoming very comfortable in their space. You know, I mean, I see Santi just put out his projects, Zubaru. You know, you and I talked about Odunsi off the mic, but you know, Odunsi's doing his thing. Thames is doing her thing, like Donnelly's doing her thing. I saw her colors. I'm Array, like, you know, like I'm seeing all these things, and I'm saying to myself, bro, when you put out what's the name of that record that you had with from Ghana back in 10 years ago?
Efia. Yes, Crooked Love.
Even that was already very alternative sounding then. Who would have thought that this is where everything is going to be at? And at that point in time, people were looking at you as a crazy person.
Honestly,
you know?
That's why I always say to people, it's like, you know, just sticking at it. It wasn't like a straightforward journey, as you know. It's very difficult. We had to try different avenues. But you know what God did? It gave us the opportunity to be able to create other platforms that will support, you know, what it is that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Whether it was like the stuff I did with Jameson to elevate the community.
I was going to go there, right? Because you at some point became a semi-corporate person.
Right.
Semi.
Right.
And for a lot of people, if they're not careful, they could actually lose their way and just get caught up in it. When did you feel like, not when rather, but at what point did you feel like, you know what, it's time to get back to the music? What sparked that decision?
I think for me, what it was is that everything always stemmed from the music. The reason why they picked me was because they knew my influence in my community via the music. The reason why I could leverage the communities because they knew what I've done for the music. So I always say everything came from the music. And, you know, studying the guys that I looked up to the most were always the music moguls. Those are my favorite guys. You know, it was from Hove to Don Jazzy to Dr. Dre to Puffy, you know, because these are the guys that they thrived in the business realm, but they were also the jiggiest men in the music industry and making the best music. So those are the people that, Pharrell, those are the guys that I really looked up to. I'm like, because obviously we're from Nigeria now, you know, entertainment is fun, but business is as important. So it's like, okay, how can I combine it? So that's when it was with Jameson. For me, the easy blueprint was like, Jay-Z did this thing with, what's that champagne he has?
Ace. Not Ace.
Ace of Spades?
They signed, what's his name now? Ice Prince now. What should we call him?
Douce, exactly.
Right.
Puffy has done it with Ciroc. So I'm like, this is a no-brainer now. Teezee, you just have to be Puffy with Jameson. Just be jiggy and carry the bottle, give your guys, put it in videos, and voila.
That's right.
Like magic.
That's right, and it worked.
So it was super important to keep that balance. And even though when I was doing that as the ambassador and stuff, I was still making music. I was still in the studio with Bodge, SDC, Fresh,
definitely.
Or Dunsi, even if it's behind the scenes, still just writing records, recording, maybe not putting out consistently, but that period, I just felt like, man, there was another mission that I felt I was the only one that could do this at the time, you know. So,
and I'll be honest with you, you held that part very strong. Let me just do this real
Thank
quick.
you, brother.
You held that part very strong.
Even the stuff we do with PGM.
Yeah. No,
you
like
understand?
because that's how the relationship started.
course.
Like, you know, that's how we also got in bed with Jameson as well, and we did work together. Some of the great work that we did. I mean, look at Thames today, right?
Bro.
But let me you talked about Hove inspiring you, and from a business point of view, I know that you're also co-founder of The Native, right? So that's like another business side of you that you run, and I know you guys also have like a little imprint, like a label imprint as well. Not to digress too far, but if just talk to me about what those plans are. Like, you definitely still have a business head on your shoulder, so talk to me about what those plans are.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, a Native being the platform for African millennials and Gen Zs at home and in diaspora. You know, it's just to try and reconnect everyone globally and let people feel like we're one, and we're just promoting, you know, the people who we always feel it was harder for them to get opportunities to shine.
Right.
Now times have changed, you know, the media has kind of changed a little.
Right.
So we're growing with that as well. And obviously the festival to platform the young artists with the established and international artists. So having Dave on the same stage as Mason 2500 or having SDC on the same stage with Odunsi 4 years before, you know, he broke out, you know, and stuff like having Teezee, Skepta, and Budge performing a song that they made because of all connecting in Lagos City. So, you know, those things were just connecting and our communities across the world that was super important to us. And, you know, it's now stemmed into getting opportunities to have our own music imprint situation, which, you know, over the next few months, people see us roll out properly and really understand. Solid. Dreams can come true.
They are coming true already, man. I mean, on front, man. I mean, even just like I said, looking at your project and looking at the journey 10 years ago. I mean, you and your boys, Budget and Fresh, and all of them. All I can say, man, persistence works, you know, and I shout you guys out all day, every day.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, before we wrap this up, the Knox record, I want to talk about that. Actually, there are two records. So the Knox record, I really want to talk about, and then Dark Skin with Back Row G. Please just talk to me about Dark Skin. Let's talk about that record.
Yeah. Dark Skin for me was that's a special record because I had Lancey Foe and Back Row G on that, and I just felt like, you know, another thing for me is connecting the African diaspora and what's going on back home, and, you know, like, what's the best way to connect these guys who are thriving in the UK, not because they're black, but because of the music they're making.
That's right.
But they're so innately African and about what they are from back home. And, you know, my own was like, this was for the girls as well. It's like a lit record, but it's for, you know, dark-skinned brothers and sisters like us all around the world who I feel like there's not enough songs that celebrates being, you know, being part of the DSS, as the Damson Idris would say, or whatever, you know. So I'm like, why don't I make an anthem that's for that? And that's what we just came up with in the studio, you know, like, you know, my girl's black, Lancey's girl's black, same with Back Row. So it's like, guys, let's actually come together, do a record to celebrate just dark-skinned people, dark-skinned women, like, you know, they're as fire as, you know, the amount of times you hear, oh, light skin, life, you hear so many things, and it's like, you know what, let's do one that's for people that look like my mom.
That's right.
People that look like my sister, people that look like my girl. You get, and let
everybody be represented.
Everyone be represented. So that was the important thing with Dark Skin. Yeah,
I hear you.
That song is banging.
No. Look, come on, man. I mean, first off, with Back Road on the record, I can already imagine. And then Do Me Jeje, that's the one we're bumping right now.
Yes,
huge fan of Knox. I think he's amazing. But I never knew up until today that he's Nigerian. Like, you know, you told me this in the studio off the mic. So how did you guys connect and work on this record? And why call it Do Me Jeje?
Yeah. So with Knox, we met in the studio via his manager. Our managers are friends.
Okay.
So they organized a session during lockdown for us, and you know, we just stayed in the studio and we connected, like, and he's just a special artist. He produces, he writes a lot of his music. He's a fantastic storyteller. And once he now told me, oh, he's Nigerian, I'm like, okay, that's fire. They're not like, oh, he's even lived in the East. He was back home for school. You know how they say. So I'm like, it makes sense. You get, there's just one extra source that you get when you've been back home. You've been in the, really been in
the trenches.
I mean? In the trenches,
you've
right?
been there.
And trenches is relevant.
They're taking lights. That mosquito bit you. Like,
so your creative process would definitely be different. So we definitely connected off that. And with that song, Do Me Jeje, which I feel is like, that's my special single. That's a song that I feel it's gonna go really far. I call the sound alter piano because I combined one of the best alter producers, Genio, with one of the best piano producers called Cool Drink. Because I told these guys, let's create a new sound. I'm always about experimenting in studio, Doug. You know, that's what I've always done. So like, how can I make my world combine with this other African genre that's really thriving and I really enjoy? And man, combining those two producers together with like all the inputs I had, it just really brought out a really big record.
So do you see yourself ever doing amapiano? Like
no.
No?
No. Although I'm on Major League DJ's album that just dropped, but that's South African. So if they say hop on it, I'll hop on it. But
that's what I mean. So I mean, when I see you, right, I see you as someone who also likes to, like you said, experiment with sound. But experimenting with sound also means experimenting with artistry, right? Like pushing the boundaries of your artistry. So you don't even know what you would sound like really, really, like if you decided to mess with some amapiano or...
No, for sure. So I did it on the Major League song, which was good. So and to me, this is my Do Me Jeje is my own variation of piano for me because it's as far as I'll go, but it's a banger, you know.
Yeah, man.
Combining those sounds and just really pushing it, and I know that, man, this one's gonna be one of the songs of the summer. I promise you. I know.
Well, as long as they don't lock us up again,
in
lockdown, especially with what is happening in Russia, I hope it don't spill over to the UK here because things are just getting mad in the world. People are just going crazy. We should play putting this project. Maybe it might calm his temper down, his nerves down. Like, you know, when you listen to good music, everything just works out all right, you know. Man, Teezee, man, it's been a pleasure having you on here. I really appreciate this conversation. And I'm going to say this, man. Listen, you keep pushing, my G. You're right now, like, you are literally on the stage.
Yes, sir.
And the fact that you're putting people on is great. The fact that you're pushing the culture is amazing. Off the mic, like I said to you, just keep an eye open for some of those who need a bit more guidance. Do you understand what I mean? Because it's, you know, you figured it out, but it's okay to be rebellious, but don't be rebellious to the point where you're not even trying to understand the code that will benefit you as an individual. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or let me phrase that. Rebellion that leads to destruction is not healthy rebellion, right? Sure. So, but other than that, man, I think you're doing an amazing job. Before I let you go, the last thing I want to ask you is this new look that you have on the project. You know, you've got your hair all down and everything. So who's the art director? Who came up with that look?
Yeah. That was me, man. Like,
for real?
I do my own creative direction. I build the characters.
Mad.
Every character I write, like, it's a script. When I was making the project, I actually wrote a movie script about how I wanted it to go through. So I did character development. Yeah, character development for each person on the cover because it's like there are 3 lead characters who weave through the different songs. Every song, that's why I did the skits for every video before, so it feels like a movie. There's a thread. It feels like a Nollywood movie for everything. So I just really wanted to connect those threads. So, man, that's it. So shout out to the people who inspired me. Prince, Andre 3000, Two-Face, P-Square. Like, those are the guys that when I was growing up, I used to see them. I'm like, man, these guys are crazy. This shit is amazing. And that's how I want kids to feel. I want them to look at me and be like, yo, Teezee is crazy, but he's free. And, you know, that translates a long way, and it encourages people to, you know, really enter that true form. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it does look like a movie cover. Like, you know, and then with the lightning and all of that stuff. You know, I see coming soon.
Yeah, just to make you know, just all the way on every aspect of creative. You know, how to push the boundaries. So.
Teezee, congratulations, my G. I think the project is fire. If you haven't heard this project, go check it out. This is an amazing project called Arrested by Love, and man, Teezee in the building from DRB, Fresh Prince of Las Giddy, Fresh Prince of London now.
Yes.
Teezee, when next time you're doing a listening, let us know, man. Let's come out there, man, real quick, man.
100%.
But I do see the work you're doing. I know you've been around. I know you had a listen in Lagos. You had one in London, and I think one in Paris, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going anywhere else with that?
I'm heading back. I'm heading back to Lagos. Okay. And probably just gotta do the round. You know, back home. Yeah. Back home is still very traditional. You have to do the round.
Yeah. Plus people miss you out there. Plus people again, if you're too far away from Nige,
Yeah.
you get detached. So
I miss home. I need to go and do my Lagos rounds. I miss Lagos. So
what's the first thing you're gonna do when you get home?
when I get home, I'm gonna chill with my son, go to the beach with him. Then I'll go to Fresh Else Club, Hotbox. Make sure they run my records. Just be outside.
You don't need to remind them that they're gonna run your records anyway. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, Fresh once again. Shout out to you, Teezee, Fresh Prince. Big ups to you as always, and do me a favor, just keep us posted whenever anything is happening.
Yes, sir.
The next time you're gonna catch us, I'm gonna be in Lagos with Fresh as well. All right, the Fresh Prince. I know that the homecoming concert and whatchamacallit again. Why does this word fail me? The homecoming concert and the pop-up panel, and they. I'm looking for the word anyway, but that's happening.
Yes, homecoming, Easter,
that's
2021.
That's right.
2022?
Yeah, 2022. Bro, don't worry. We lost the year. Yeah, it's allowed to.
Right?
We lost the year.
But yeah, Easter, it's gonna be huge.
If you are free, buy a ticket. Come down to Nige. Easter. We're gonna be out there. That's the P.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Peace out, everybody. Be safe. Check the project out. Give me your feedback. As always, connect with me at The Beats 1036 or on my personal handle at Douglas Jekan. Teezee, what's yours?
My handle is Teezee on Instagram. That's TEEZEE, and it's Teezee DRB on Twitter. TEEZEE DRB